100 different stadiums and or arenas. Yes, you heard that right. I have seen a sporting event at 100 different venues, ranging from high school sports, college, and professional. And this is just a crazy milestone. I'm very excited that I hit it because this is a huge hobby of mine, stadium traveling. And I want to give a thank you to the viewers of this channel because a big part of this hobby, besides like actually traveling, doing these road trips to see these games, see new cities, arenas, communities, leagues, all that, actually filming at these games, recording videos, clips for the channel, and kind of documenting where I've been, and kind of putting some, even like when I see some smaller teams that not a lot of people, talk about or go to games to see, posting some clips for them. And when I do the high school football coverage and the high school basketball coverage, covering some teams that don't get a lot in the local high school sports media, it really means a lot that you guys watch those and hopefully enjoy them, because that's a big part of it for me, filming at these games and creating the content for this channel, along with that hobby of traveling to these different stadiums and arenas. And it really means a lot. So big thank you to you guys. And in this video, I kind of just want to talk about my journey through this hobby and how I got into it and some of my favorite venues. And yeah, kind of where I want to go in the future with something similar to this. Obviously, I can't do this as a job. That would be fantastic, but I can't. Something in sports media that can allow me to travel and see different places. So let's get into it. This is the story of how I got into the hobby of stadium traveling. I kind of want to start my junior year of high school, I want to say, because that's when I took my first stadium trip that made me realize, hey, I really like this. But we have to go back a little bit farther than that. So let's talk about how I got into sports in general. My first ever stadium was the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. I was there at the age of 1. Yes, age of 1. My dad played football at Syracuse, so that's why I'm such a huge fan, and our family's diehard Syracuse football fans, and we have season tickets every year. So been there. We used to go to a lot of Eagles games together, me and my father, a couple Giants games, and we saw a couple Syracuse road games and a couple baseball stadiums. Saw the Yankees, Cavaliers for basketball. Like, seeing my favorite teams in person. Like, me and my dad took a trip out to Cleveland, 7 years ago now. Jeez, it was that long ago. But yeah, when LeBron was still there, saw a Yankees game, saw a Phillies game too, Mets, saw a couple baseball stadiums before I really got into it. So it was kind of just, oh, let's go see a team that you've been following forever that you've never seen in person. Or, a couple of guys want to go to see a Phillies game, you want to go with them? Yeah, sure. It was stuff like that. But, it wasn't me tracking down stadiums, like going, oh, let's go see a game here, let's go see a game there, like plotting out entire years of where I'm going. But let's talk about where that started. So besides all that, that's how I got into sports in general. Let's start my junior year of high school here. So my high school was playing in the state tournament for basketball. The boys team were. They won the district title that year. They were really good my junior year. And they were playing a game at this iconic venue, which is one of the most iconic in the state of Pennsylvania in high school basketball, really. Mart's Hall down in Pottsville, Pennsylvania. And I really wanted to go, and it's one of my favorites that I've been to. And we took the trip down. It's only like a little over an hour, right down 81, so an easy trip. See our boys, So me, two of my buddies, my sister and her friend, we all went down to Pottsville, and it was a really fun trip. It was a fun road trip. I loved doing the long driving. I don't know why a lot of people probably hate that. I love it. I love traveling. I love driving around, seeing new places like that. I've never been to Pottsville. Never really took a trip that long because I was only 17 years old. So never took a trip that long driving myself. So it was pretty neat to do that. And after, I'm like, this is pretty fun. Like, what if what if we did this again? What if we went and saw some other venues, some other teams, not just our high school or high school sporting events? Why don't we go around and see some teams? Like, it'd be pretty cool to take some road trips. So that whole summer, I didn't really get out much. I was preparing for my senior season of high school football. And throughout my recruiting process, so the fall of 2022, I did a couple game day visits at some Division III and a Division II stadium, and I was like, this is fun. Like, I'm at a new place every weekend, seeing the culture of the team. Obviously, I had a little more of an in-depth than I would as a spectator. Like, I did locker room tours, I met with the coaches, and there was all recruiting stuff. But regardless, at the end of the day, I was sitting in the stands watching a football game, and it was a different one. I was literally 4 weeks straight each weekend. I was somewhere different. So it was fun. I loved it, and that was another thing. It's like, this is fun. Seeing new places, going to games. So what if I did this a little bit more? So I really got into it around that time. Me and my buddies, again, in December of that year, we took a trip up to Binghamton, New York, and saw the Binghamton Black Bears of the FPHL because I was like, why don't we go check this out? I never got to Binghamton when they had the AHL team. Why don't I get up there and let's go see the Black Bears. Let's see what this is all about. And we went up there. It was a fantastic time, fun road trip, again, just like Pottsville. And that was when I brought this bad boy out. This is my notebook where I keep track of everything. I have it separated by sport. So this is the football page. You can't really see that. But basketball, baseball, hockey. And at first, I didn't want to count high school sports. I also have a page for other sports as well. So like none of the four majors. So I have a softball, 2 softball stadiums, and a NASCAR track with Pocono Raceway. And I also count my concerts too. I don't really do it. I just kind of do it just for fun, concert list as well. But yeah, so that's when I whipped this bad boy out. And originally, I didn't want to count high school sports because I felt like it wasn't tied in with everything else. But as I got into working in media for high school football and high school sports in general, I got into, a little bit of journalism, going to games and doing Twitter updates. I started to count it, and I have a whole separate section for high school sports. Look at this. You can see here, I got to update the number in here, but look at that. And then I also have the states here as well, as you can see. Again, I got to update this, so I got to rewrite that. I haven't since the last 2 I visited, so got to do that. And yeah, so then I started keeping track of everything and started taking more trips, started going more places. And the hobby just kind of grew from there. And as I got involved more with, like I said, high school sports, I got to a lot of different stadiums with my internship that I did with PAFootballnews.com. Covered a lot of high school games, saw a lot of new stadiums, new places, new communities. It was fantastic. So that's kind of how I got into this. So some of my favorite venues, like I said earlier, Martz Hall is on there for sure. Madison Square Garden has definitely got to be on there. I'm a Philadelphia Flyers fan, but the New York Rangers atmosphere was incredible. It was honestly one of the best. It was a Sunday game at 1 o'clock. Place was pretty much sold out. It was fantastic. Fans were into it. It was a great game as well. They played Colorado. That one wasn't too long ago, so I remember a lot of details. It was in January, so it was a very high action, a lot of goals. It was 2-2 at the end of the first period. It was fantastic. The Danbury Hat Tricks of the FPHL, that was a fantastic atmosphere. Smaller barn, FPHL, that's one of my favorite leagues of all time. Love going to games there. I've been to 4 different arenas for that. And I'd say Danbury was one of the best for sure. Best fans, absolutely. And going through some of the other sports, some of the nicer stadiums I've been to for other sports, I want to talk about Citi Field being my favorite out of the 6 MLB stadiums I've been to, because that's one people don't really get, especially me being a Yankees fan. I think Citi Field was the nicest that I've been to out of the 6 I've been to, and yeah, that's probably my favorite for baseball. Football, some really nice high school stadiums. Scranton Memorial Stadium, they got a really nice place. Obviously the Dome, JMA Dome, Carrier Dome, Syracuse, one of my favorites. I have an arena football one in there for the Wells Fargo Center, but I want to talk about Wells Fargo Center because that's one of my favorite hockey venues for the Flyers. And yeah, I will say KeyBank Center was great too. Buffalo was a great time. That was my 100th. And yeah, so that's some of my favorites there. Can't really think of any others. Basketball, I don't have much to talk about. I haven't been to many places. The Cavs Arena was probably my favorite, though. That the Quicken Loans, or what it was called, the Quicken Loans Arena at the time. It's called Rocket Mortgage Fieldhouse now. That was probably my favorite in that. And I saw a lot of great high school games as well, and they could all be seen on that sporting event and concert clips. And yeah, that's about it. And kind of talking about where I want to go in the future with something in this. I've probably talked about it 1,000 times, but I want to get into sports media, whether it's multimedia journalism, production, camera work, anything like that. Anything involved in multimedia with sports, I would love to get into. And, you know, hopefully it allows me to travel a little bit and see some more stadiums that maybe I wouldn't be able to see if I didn't have a certain job or something. So that's the goal with this, tying that hobby into my future career. Let's hope we can do it. We got a semester and 2 more full school years left of that to figure that out, to see where life takes us. And yeah, so that's it. That's the end of this video. Kind of wanted to talk about my journey through this hobby, some of my favorite places, and plans for the future with this. And yeah, cheers to more traveling and more road trips and more FPHL. Yes, I love talking about the Fed. Fantastic league. They need to start expanding up north more. Get some more teams up north. I need to travel a little bit more. So cheers to another 100 and another 100 after that and another 100 after that. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, thank you so much for your support. I will link the sporting event and concert clips playlist underneath this video so you can see some of the clips if you haven't. There's those high school football highlights in there as well. There's clips from everywhere I've been. Pretty much every stadium, all 100 of those stadiums. Not all 100, but there's at least maybe 97, 96% videos I have from those stadiums. So go check those out. That's part of what I love to do. So, you know, really appreciate it. If you haven't, take a look at that playlist. Thank you guys so much again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.